Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Bill Janetschek, and I was asked to get on this subject about how we can get over, we've had crazy last couple months, right? We've been locked down worldwide, economic collapse, unemployment going up, social media blowing up, and I was thinking, I'm going, why did they ask me to do this? And first thing I'm thinking, we've all heard about the pandemic 15 that people are putting on, lifestyle changes, and because I'm a chiropractor and I study functional neurology and functional medicine, which we want to kind of get into the meat and bones about what we can do for our bodies to come over through this. My real expertise, or my real way of getting to people is I handle stress, and I believe that every disease and even optimum health falls under what I call the stress model. Stress is physical, it's chemical, and it's emotional, and it really doesn't matter which one is activated, your body still reacts the same way. If you think about what happens when you're stressed, someone punches you in the face, or you're in a fight, or you're just like that, so you tighten up and you pucker up like that, and it changes your physiology, right? Well, also, if we have chemical stuff, bad diet, we're around a lot of pollution or something, our body will do the same thing. It's still an invader from the outside that our body says, hey, what's going on? And it puckers up to that. But when we really think about stress, we think about, wow, I'm really stressed out. There's too much money at the end of the money today. Or the kids are doing this. My husband did this. My wife did that. Oh, my mother's getting on me. Oh, the kid, whatever it is, that's emotional stress. And that's what we think of stress. Well, I don't really get stressed. I don't let stress bother you. I'm going to tell you something. The other thing is that stress is a lot of time unconscious. You absorb stress from the energies and from people around you, the energies of the event, it can be the way that you walk. But that's a rabbit hole that I think they wanted me to go through, but I'm not going to do it because I'm a rebel. But not only a rebel, but I want to give value to you today. So, like I said, I study functional neurology and functional medicine. What that really means is that I'm a big geek when it comes to how the brain works and how the brain works within your environment and how you move and stuff. Think about it as a chiropractor. We talk about posture, we talk about neck, and most people think about headache, neck pain, back pain, headaches, or car accidents. And you know what? We do a great job with that, and that's it. But that's the tip of the iceberg. That is sort of like using chiropractic like you'd use your computer as a paperweight. It works, and it works wonderfully, but you haven't scratched the surface. When you geek out, when you start to go like that, and if you ask somebody what controls the body, everybody says, oh, I know it's the brain, but how does the brain control the body? And that's the magic of neurology. Now, stay with me. I know, I see your feet moving right now, but I want you to understand the importance of the brain, the body, and how it works. That's what I do. But I also work into what's called functional medicine. Functional medicine is high level looking at nutrition, metabolic pathways, how the body's working, how you lose weight efficiently. It's actually getting to the core and the cause of the problem. Instead of taking medicine and trying to get rid of just the symptoms, we get to the core of that. So, as a background with what I've had, I used to have epilepsy, and I met a chiropractor, and this is just a short story. My epilepsy went away because of the adjustments, because I normalized my brain with my body, and I had always been in nutrition. As an athlete and just growing up, we wanted to learn how to optimize our body and take all the alphabet vitamins and all the minerals and everything that we have to do, and I never stopped learning with that. When you combine the two, the neurology, because your nervous system is the master function of the body because it controls everything else around, right? Well, that's true. If we add good things in, we should have perfect bodies. And I thought, I'm going to be the greatest doctor ever because I'm going to study all this and we're going to get to the core and we're going to do it naturally and everything. And we get great results, but we weren't getting the best results because everything else that we have has to do with the mind. And this is where it really got into my ego, because despite of all my expensive wallpaper, all the certifications, all the diplomat, all the studying I did, it really didn't matter, because when I got face to face with you, the patient, and I and you still had this emotional stress going on, didn't matter what I did. Didn't matter how much I studied. Didn't matter how much I cared about you, how much I wanted to get healthy, and even how much you did. If there was these emotional blocks or psychological blocks that were preventing you from taking the proper action to get the results, to repeat better actions, to get better results, to get this up there, it didn't work. So there's a point to this. The point is, I was asked to come on here and said, what can we do to better ourselves during this pandemic, or at least not make it worse, if we're like that. And I was thinking, I'm like, oh, I want to give gold on this. What can I do? What can I do? And I realized I can't do anything, because it depends. I don't know what your journey is. When we have events happen to us, or with us, or to us, or whatever it is, we make meanings out of it. The only thing that happens is if the meaning that you give to it, that's going to decide the kinds of actions you're going to take. And I use this example in my talks all the time. I said, if I love snakes and you hate snakes, and somebody comes over here and throws a big boa constrictor right in the middle of us, and I'm just going, oh my God, it's a boa constrictor, it's so beautiful, it's so lovely. And my body's making chemicals, right? Inside my body, like it's a Christmas puppy, and I just can do things. And so I'm feeling love, and I'm getting endorphins, and I'm just feeling, my body is actually getting healthier and growing. Now, if you don't like this snake, and this snake is, you just have fears because you know that, that snake was the downfall from Eve and this, and you've heard about all the terrible serpents, and you have a different opinion of that, and you start to go, it's a snake, oh my God, and everything, your body's making chemicals inside over here that's making you sicker and making you die early. But what's the difference? It's the same snake, we're in the same room, but we're having totally different physiological reactions. And it's based on our perceptions and the feelings that we have about that beforehand, because we created a meaning. And so this journey that we're going on, and if you look at this as a journey, this is the thing that's going to make or break whatever you're going through. Depending what this time of our lives means to you is going to give you the result that you want on where you're going to go. And that brought me over to Joseph Campbell. So a lot of times when I do transformational workshops or seminars or something like that, I always use this framework. Now, Joseph Campbell was he was a mythologist, and he studied all the myths from all around different cultures over the, and he came around with, there's a general theme. And you'll see this because a lot of the movies that we see and we love and we fall in love with, where we just go, oh, this is just great, this is the greatest movie ever, follow the same pathway. And I'm going to walk you through it today, and you're going to recognize Rocky, Wizard of Oz, Matrix, Star Wars, all in this movie or during this journey. But this is how your hero's journey works. We start out in an ordinary world. And that's the world that we live with now. I put here, it says, you are here. And it's actually, you were here, because this is the life that we lived before all this stuff happened. Now, there's always something in us that makes us want to think about, there's a call to adventure. And I think everybody else has a dream that's kind of inside them. And we always push it back. It's, oh, I want to be a fireman, I want to be a professional baseball player, I want to be a Superman, I want to be president, I want to be the greatest quilt maker in the world. Whatever it is, there's something inside of you that you you dream about, but you really don't think that you're there. And this is a new reality. So, just like the snake, that's your reality if you're afraid of it. If I'm not afraid of it, that's my reality. But your reality is what you believe it to be. So somewhere along the line, there's always there's a chance. Somebody comes along and says, hey, do you want to come to take this quilting class? I know you always want to be the greatest quilter in the world. And then you go up, you go like, I really want to, but no. Now, didn't we see this in Star Wars, where they asked Luke when he was on the farm with his uncle and aunt, And they said, "Oh, come on, you can come with us." "Oh, no, I have to stay here." "But you've wanted this." We did the same thing in Rocky. They offered Rocky, "Hey, Rocky, we want you to fight Apollo Creed." He said, "Well, I appreciate it, but I really can't do this. I'll be a really good sparring partner, but I'm just another bum from the neighborhood." Sylvester Stallone impression. So, but we all go through that. And a lot of times we go through the life, and most people, they kind of stay within this loop. As we go through there, somewhere along the line, sometimes they'll meet a mentor. They're going to meet somebody that's living their dreams. They're going to go to a seminar. They're going to hear something that they go, "Wow, that is possible." But your mentor can be a book. Nowadays, it can be YouTube. It can be a blog. It can be a video just like this. Anything like that, that can be your mentor that gives you some possibility thinking, that you're going, "You know what, maybe this is possible. This is something that I can really do." Then we start to enter over here to the threshold from the ordinary world into our new world. And there's a guardian at the gate, because that internal conflict starts popping up to you again. You said, "Here's my chance to be, an actor, and I got a chance to knock on the door to do my audition," and you get there, and something on you, you're just like, oh, and it stops you because there's an internal conflict where it gets, am I really good enough? Who am I to live out this dream, and who am I to do this? Some people will turn around at that point and they'll say, "I'm just going to go back to the ordinary world where I was, where it was comfortable and happy, and the like." Some people are just going to close their eyes and they're going to go for it. This is when you cross the threshold into the new world. The new world is totally different. Now we see this as a perfect example of Wizard of Oz. Dorothy went from black and white, and they had the color, and she's in Oz, and it's a totally different world. The world is totally different, but again, most of the stuff's in your head, because if you eat the standard American diet, and we put you in a commune with a bunch of vegans that grow and eat only things from the earth, that's a different thing. You can't drive by and order a Happy Meal full of quinoa and kale. This is a totally different world. And it's the same thing that happens when you get over here. It's kind of new. And once you cross the threshold over here and you say to yourself, "I'm doing it, I'm doing it, I'm doing it," this is when you're going to start to build up new allies, new people. You're going to have new tests. What am I going to do? And it really tests on whether you have the ability to forward through your journey, your call to action. As we kind of go through this, we start to learn new tasks, we learn new skills. We're adapting to the new world, and then we start approach. In Joseph Campbell's stuff, he talks to approach the inmost cave. And this is when we start to prepare to win. This is those thoughts that you've always had, this identity, you're starting to win, you've learned new skills, you've adapted to the things, and you start to come back over here, then all of a sudden there's a sense of urgency. And I want you to pay attention to this sense of urgency, because this is the thing that kills most dreams. If you've ever thought about a diet, getting a better body, getting a new job, anything that you want to do, and you thought about it, you studied and you watched YouTube videos and you read books on it and you talked to people and you like that and you're really excited like that, you know what? I'll start on Monday. We see this a lot with diet. I'm going to transform my body. We're going to start on Monday. Monday you don't feel it. You say, "I'm going to start on Tuesday." All like that. There's no sense of urgency. Sense of urgency is going to be really important as you're going through this, because that's what's going to keep your momentum. That's going to drive you until the great ordeal. The great ordeal is the fight for your life. This is when Rocky was with Apollo Creed. This is actually when Dorothy finally got to Oz, and she looked behind the curtain and found out exactly what was going on. It's all, it's when Luke Skywalker, takes on Darth Vader. It's the big ordeal. It's the big climax. Any movie that you love, you're going to watch it. It's going to be, this is the portion where they built up there, and dun, 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 the music comes on like that, and they come out the victor. At the time when the victory comes by, after you have this fight for your life, it's at that time you became this person that's gone through all this stuff, and then you have to have the death of the old person, because now it's almost like a rebirth. When Rocky went through and he won, when he just finished, he didn't win the first fight, he won the second fight, but when he came back over there, he realized that he was not just another bum from the neighborhood, that he was something special, but that was an internal game. But at that point on there, he left the thug on the street, and the guy that was just a bum from the neighborhood, in his mind and in his identity became a professional fighter. So as you do this like that, you have a transformation, and you come back over to the ordinary world. Now, the ordinary world, this is where you kind of come over, and this is your kind of new world view, because you've changed your identity, you've actually changed who you are. So whether this intrigued you, there's truths to this, because thousands of years through Joseph Campbell's studies, he's found, he said, this is what's happened. Anytime you have a movie or a story or something that moves you, when we see, every Horatio Alger story that comes out, coming from nothing, I tried everything that we could do, we can get up, we can do this, we do like that, and he finally wins the victory, and everybody feels good. The interesting thing is that for us now, we're called to this new world. We're thrust into the call to adventure. And you have the choice to come back, and this is the choice. Well, we're going to bitch about, it's Trump's fault. It's not Trump's fault. It's the Rothschilds getting us down. It's 5G. It's the world. It's the right. Everything else like that, where we don't take responsibility. There's things in the world that we can't control right now, but there's one thing that we can control, and that's how we're thinking. If you decide and you get thrust into this new world, and you can adapt and you can come by, you can come out of this thing better. I know people that this whole thing has devastated. They've lost their jobs, their businesses. They're drinking. They're picking up bad habits. They're sleeping all day, doing the best they can. They're in a constant state of worry, and their lives are drained. At the very same time, I know a lot of people that have gotten closer to their kids, started to get to know neighbors that they just used to drive by and they were wave neighbors, the neighbors you just wave to when they're taking in their trash can or you're taking in yours. They actually went in and checked in on them. They became human with people over there. That they found somebody else that was worried and scared, and they brought them toilet paper when that was in need, or they're bringing them food, they're just checking in. But you see why I didn't talk about metabolic pathways or neurological things or the diet you can go on, because those are temporary. To take the journey to come back over here to win the elixir of life or find out what you find, in every one of these journeys, what they find out is the winner, the elixir, everything that's good that comes out of here that makes this such a great story was already in the person. It took this to bring out things, to get it going, to make sure that that we can get these things in our bodies, because they're already there. You can make this a reality very easily and very effortlessly. But you need to go through this, and it depends on your mindset before you get through. So the moral of my story is, who do you want to become? It's very easy, and you can have every right, and you can build up a stack of reasons why you can be bitter, and it's the orange man's fault, or it's your governor's fault, or like that. And you can be totally justified. But you can also make the decision, if you ask yourself the question, said, how can this make me better? And simply by asking the question and following a format like this and seeing how this works with you, you can come out of this journey not only a different person, but a better person. And in fact, you can come out that person that you've always wanted to be. Now, during all this, you can pick up team members. This is where we get tests and allies. So if you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to get healthier. If you are sitting here and asking yourself, oh my God, I was so scared of this whole thing because my, the immune system. I'll tell you, through this whole thing, I never worried one bit. I have a great immune system. Most of my friends have great immune systems, but it's by your daily habits. If, there's ways that you can, people are making millions during this time. At the very same time people are going broke, there's other people making millions. And they're still in the same, they're on the same playing field as you are, just like when the snake was dropped in the middle of the room. It's going to be the questions that you ask. And based on the questions that you ask, you're going to get better answers. I don't know if you guys have read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, but he was in the concentration camps, and he studied what was making the difference in the people that died in there and the people that survived. And it was the meaning that they gave it. So before you go on, ask yourself, what does this mean to you? And then ask yourself, what do I want this to mean to me? And those questions will drive you to where you need to be. So I hope this helped. I hope this will be good. I'm Dr. Bill Janetschek, and I just covered the